Hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jesse, and today I'm bringing you my 2024 Bookish Bingo. If you're new here and you don't know what I'm talking about, I did a Bookish Bingo for the year of 2023, which I will have linked the results to that Bookish Bingo down below in the description, along with the original video that I did, where I talk about my Bookish Bingo. Basically, I just put together a list of bookish things that I thought that I would accomplish throughout the year in a Bookish Bingo format, and at the end of the year, I did a recap to see if I was able to hit bingo or not. Even though I didn't necessarily keep up with it last year, I didn't print it out, put it on my wall, and mark it off as I went, I still had a lot of fun with it, and I decided that I wanted to do it again this year. I will say this year's Bookish Bingo is one that I'm gonna have to really focus on, because I feel like where last year's was more of just things that I knew that I would probably do, things that I knew that I would accomplish. In some ways it was almost like a prediction of my reading life and the things that I do, just reading habits that I do. This one I feel like is a lot more goal-based, and that's because I didn't want it to overlap at all with last year's. I wanted new bingo spaces, and I feel like in order to have new and fresh slots on this year's Bookish Bingo, I had to make it more goal-driven. So we'll see how this year's goes, but unlike last year where I didn't print out my Bookish Bingo and keep track of it, I printed out this year's. I'm already feeling a lot better about this year's. Even though I was very successful last year, let me just say, I got that success. I did the dang thing. I think I hit 4 bingos or something like that. Killed it. Crushed it. Did that. I also just like the design that I went with this year, because last year I did it on my own in Procreate. This year I used a template. Thank you, Canva. I feel like a lot of these slots were submitted by you guys and channel members, because I did ask for some inspiration in my last Bookish Bingo video, so you might see an idea that you threw at me on this. Let's get into it. Let's talk about my Bookish Bingo. I'm gonna try to stop saying Bookish Bingo. First up on my Bookish Bingo, me. I'm not gonna say it anymore. 5 seconds later, Bookish Bingo! First up here, I have to read 80 books. That is my Goodreads goal for the year of 2024. I feel like I'll be able to do it, even though I have already been getting notifications from Goodreads that's you're 1 book behind, and I'm bruh, can you chill? Can you stop making me nervous? I don't want this to be a stressful situation. I don't want to panic. You're gonna make me mess up my goal by putting pressure on me, so can you not? Can you not, Goodreads? Take several seats. But I am feeling pretty good about this goal. I feel like I'll be able to accomplish it. I've been trying to read 100 pages a day. So far, I've missed a few days. I'm not even gonna lie. I feel like I have the hardest time when the weekend comes around, which I feel like doesn't make sense because the weekend is when I have more time to read. But come the weekend, I just want to play video games, watch YouTube, watch a movie, watch a show, stuff like that. Whereas during the weekday, I feel like reading is a lot easier to accomplish for me because I'm a lot more focused, a lot more motivated. So I don't know what's up with that. I feel like I might change my read 100 pages goal to just be during the week and then just go with the flow on the weekends, you know? Next on my list, we've got film and post 12 book review videos. I've been craving not only creating book reviews, but also consuming book reviews. And I know that a lot of people out there still make book reviews, but I feel like the current state of BookTube, book reviews are just not a priority, which it makes sense. YouTube does not love book reviews. Their algorithm hates it, so creators obviously prioritize videos that are gonna get them views. And not to say that I don't love a wrap-up situation where there's a bunch of different reviews on a bunch of different books, but I think there's just something so special about there just being a single book review solely focused on one book. So I would like to get to at least 12 of those this year. Wish me luck. What book should I be reviewing for you guys? Let me know in the comments down below. Next one was submitted by a channel member, and this is to read a choose your own adventure style book. I actually have quite a few choose your own adventure books because I thought that I would do some kind of video at some point, so maybe you'll see that in the near future. I never really read any choose your own adventure books as a child, and I feel like that's something that I really missed out on as a kid because they just sound so much fun. There's something so fun about being in control of the choices that are made in a book and seeing where your choices have you ending up by the end of the book. I just something about that I love. So I'm excited about the possibility of reading a few of these this year and seeing how I feel about them. Next on my list is to go to a bookstore I've never been to before. I feel like this one should be pretty easy to accomplish, though I have been to every bookstore in my area. I feel like I might have to travel out a little bit in order to accomplish this goal, but I'm down for a day trip where I go to a bunch of new bookstores that I've never been to before. That just sounds like such an ideal scenario for me. I love the idea of just taking a day off, getting in my car, and traveling around to all these random bookstores in surrounding cities and whatnot. Sign me up for that. I'm ready for it. Let's fill up the gas tank and go. If I do end up doing that, maybe I'll do a vlog situation. Next is to DIY a bookmark based on the book that you're reading. I'm not the most crafty person, and when I say I'm not the most crafty person, I love attempting crafts, but I'm not ever good at the crafts that I make. And I never really allowed the time for me to grow in that area. I'm always just ugh, well, I tried drawing a really pretty picture and it sucks. I'll just never try it again because I just will never ever get better, and I really need to work on being bruh, bro. The day you plant the seed is not the day you eat the fruit, okay? Anyway, I'm excited about the idea of creating a bookmark inspired by the book that I'm reading. I feel like this is a not very intimidating DIY situation, so I'm excited about it. Next is to reorganize your bookshelf. This needs to happen this year. I've already been thinking about the fact that like I want to get my book covers back on my books. I'm just dreading the process of getting the book covers back on the books. And like, I really have grown to love this look. Like, I love the vibe here, but I feel like it can also be such a bother because if I'm filming a video where I want to talk about specific books within them, I have to spend like an hour and a half going through tubs trying to find the book covers for the books that I'm going to talk about in the video. And like, as a content creator, that setback is just not the vibe. I can't be doing that every time I go to film a video. Plus, my bookshelf is due for a reset. It needs a bit of a shake-up moment. I've gotten rid of a lot of books recently, and so it's just like the vibe is off. Like, it's just a little disheveled, and it needs to be resheveled. Reorganize is what it needs to be. Next on my list is to read a book recommended in a comment. I feel like this one should be pretty easy because I always have my eyes on the comments looking for book recommendations from you guys. You guys always have the best book recommendations for me and I appreciate it so much. I've done so many weird reading challenges in the past where I've like taken your book recommendations in order to like curate my TBR for those videos. And I definitely have a lot more of those planned for 2024, so this should be easy to accomplish. So keep hitting me with your recs, please. Next is drop a book, and I don't mean like drop out of a book, be like reading it and be like, okay, I'm not going to read it anymore. Like, this is not a DNF situation. I mean like physically drop a book because I'm known for dropping books. And that's because I throw them up to catch them in videos. And sometimes when I throw them up to catch them, they go flying on the ground. I can't help that the books decide that they want to be on the ground. It has nothing to do with me and my clumsiness and my inability to catch the books. Moving on, read a book recommended by a librarian. At my library, they have like a little section where librarians recommend books. I've always thought it would be fun to just like pick up a few and read them. And I might make this a vlog situation where I take you guys to the library with me. I pick out a few of the books recommended by librarians and I read them and share with you my thoughts on them. Like, I feel like that'd be a fun old time. Next on the list is to read a book that has a book cover that you hate. There are so many book covers out there that just like give me the ick. And sometimes that like holds me back from wanting to read a book, which I know is so stupid. It's super judgy of me because you should never judge a book by its cover, but like, I can't help it sometimes. Sometimes I'm a little snobby when it comes to book covers. I'm like, ugh. But I'm really trying to shift my focus on caring more about like what the book is actually about, not the cover. So I'm gonna try to be open-minded and pick up some ugly books this year. Next is to read a book published in the year that you were born. I was born in 1992. So gonna have to find a book from that year. Next is to read a book with an animal main character. This is something that I came up with because I've realized that I have a lot of books on my TBR, my physical TBR, that have animal main characters. And I feel like I somehow keep buying these books that have animal main characters and I don't read them. And it's not like I'm not interested in reading from an animal's perspective, because clearly I am if I'm picking up these books, but like I also am never getting around to them. So like, it's time, Jesse, to clock in and get to reading these animal character driven books. Next we have a free space. Then we've got return a book from the library that you did not end up reading. I feel like I will easily be able to accomplish this because when I go to the library, I'm not picking up just one book. I'm picking up 3 to 5, okay? Do I have the ability to read 3 to 5 before the due date comes around? I probably do, truthfully, have the time to be reading the books. I just typically don't have the motivation. Like, in the moment when I'm picking up the books and bringing them home, I'm like fired up, ready to go. Let me read these library books, but then, you know, time passes, the due date comes around, and I'm like, shoot, I only read one of the books. Next on my list is to read a book while drinking boba. This one should be pretty easy for me. Last year I had read a book while drinking coffee, which is something that I do literally every day of my life. And I have boba more than I should probably, so this should be easy. Next is to complete a Booknook model. I have so many Booknook models that I have not put together yet. One that I got for Christmas, one that I bought on my own last year, and then another that I got for my birthday. It's just one of those things that like I need to carve out the time to do it in order to get it accomplished. And I've really been struggling to carve out the time. So maybe having it on my book bingo will help me finally accomplish one of them. Just one of the 3, Jesse, that's all I'm asking. Next is to donate books to a free little library. I have a few of the books that I pulled from my recent book on haul that I want to go and take to different little free little libraries. So I should be able to accomplish this year. Next, we've got read more nonfiction books. I discovered my love for nonfiction books last year, and I just want to like keep that train moving. Like, I would love to read more nonfiction books this year, specifically on like really niche topics. Like, the ones that I've loved so far are ones that are just like very weird, morbid, and cover very specific things. So if you have any recommendations for me about books that kind of like focus in, hone in on really niche topics, things that most people don't think about, hit me with your recommendations. They don't have to be like dark or morbid. I want to be clear about that. They can be dark and morbid. I probably will really like it and eat it up if it's dark and morbid, but I also am okay with other things as well. I also would like to read more memoirs this year, and not just like celebrity memoirs, because if you have any memoirs for just like really interesting people who have lived very interesting lives, drop a recommendation for me, please. Next is to read a book that I started in 2023 and did not finish. I have so many that I started in 2023 that I did not finish that I would love to finish. I started A Study in Drowning last year and I was freaking loving it, just didn't end up finishing it. The Dallargut Dream Department Store I started last year and was freaking loving as well. It was such a unique read. I need to get back to it. I started Masters of Death by Olivia Blake last year and it was so good, which I was so surprised by because obviously I don't have the best track record with Olivia Blake. Like, I hated The Atlas Six, so to like one of her books I was surprised, but I set it aside because some other shiny new book came in and I was like, gimme, let me just ditch this book that I'm really enjoying for this brand new book coming in. And I know for a fact there are other books that I was like really loving and really into that for some reason I just set aside and never finished, so I can easily accomplish this one. The next on my list is to read a book that has less than 500 ratings on Goodreads. I feel like I'm constantly actively trying to find new books that are underrated, books that are somewhat unknown, books that people just don't know about, just because like I feel like there's so many books out there that are probably really good that just have not found their audience yet, and I feel like there's so many just hidden gems out there and I want to like work to discover more of those. And it's not always easy because sometimes these books that have, you know, not very many ratings are that way for a reason. They're not necessarily like the best, but I know that there are some out there that just like are being overlooked, are not getting promotion from their publishers, and deserve some love and appreciation and some hype. So I'm gonna continue to work on that. I started a series last year called The Quest for Underrated Books, and I would like to get back to that this year because I've only done one episode so far, but like I really want to get back to it. I really want to focus on trying to find some more underrated reads. Next is to read a book that I checked out from the library. Obviously, if I do end up doing that video where I read librarians' book recommendations, then I'll be able to accomplish this one because I will be checking out those books that the librarians are recommending. Next is to complete a bookish puzzle. I have so many bookish puzzles that I want to do this year. One of my favorite activities is just to pop in an audiobook and do a little puzzle. It's like one of the most relaxing things ever. Next is to unhaul more books. Obviously, I already did a big unhaul. I don't know if I'll do another unhaul video in particular, but I definitely am going to go through my books again and kind of just make some cuts. Just get rid of some books that are just not doing it for me anymore, or books that I don't care about anymore, unread books that I just do not see myself ever getting around to, and just being okay with it. I feel like for the longest time, I've looked at my collection as that, as a collection, whereas I more so am wanting to kind of get into a place where my books represent who I am as a reader and what I enjoy. So I'll be working on that. It's going to be a hard journey to like get to that place, but I'm willing to do the work. I'm starting to do the work. I'm laying the groundwork, and we'll see how that journey goes. Next is to read a book from an indie author. I feel like this is something that should be easy to accomplish, but for some reason I feel intimidated because I just don't know where to start in looking for independent books that I will be interested in. So I need to like do some research and not feel overwhelmed in doing that research, because I can get overwhelmed very easily and be like, okay, I can't do it because I'm just overwhelmed. But like, I just need to take a deep breath, do some research, and I'm sure that I can find an independent book that I will really enjoy. The last slot you guys will be choosing, so let me know down below in the comments what you think my last slot should be on my book bingo, even though all of these are pretty much from you guys and my channel members. But leave a comment with an idea for my last slot, and the most liked comment I will choose to add to the bookish bingo. That is it for my 2024 book bingo. I'm super excited about this. Again, this is something that I will just like not be able to ignore this year. Like last year's book bingo, I knew that I would accomplish some things because they were just more general predictions for my reading life and reading habits that I do often. This year feels a little bit more goal oriented, so I will be hanging this up somewhere so that I can like actively be seeing it, actively be thinking about it, and then hopefully actively be ticking off things for my book bingo. If you like this video, be sure to go and hit that like button. If you want to see more bookish content from me, be sure to go and hit subscribe or go and hit that bell icon and you'll be notified every time I post new videos. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope your day is bright, that tomorrow is brighter. Keep reading what your heart desires, and I will see you soon with a new video. Bye. I almost just said I sharted. I did not chart.